We're talking about an empowered church and that we should be militant against the enemy, being the spiritual enemy. But we're called to love people deeply. And I think that a lot of times we get stuck on that. How do we love the person but hate the evil and the sin? And how do we reconcile that? So can you unpack how we're actually meant to do that in a way that, like Jesus would? How do we do that better? Because I think we need to do it better.
We do. And I think, Steve, the simple answer to that is that if we're going to look through the eyes of Jesus as people, this may sound like a strange thing to say, we have to look through medical eyes.
Okay.
Because one of his titles is the great physician.
Yep.
And when he looks at a person, he sees the person.
Yes.
But he also sees the spiritual force that is affecting the life of that person.
Okay.
And if we look through medical eyes, think of it this way. This will help you. A medical doctor who's been given a patient that is suffering from some aggressive cancer on the inside, that doctor will have to open up the patient.
Okay.
They get hold of the cancer, they rip it out of the body. I mean, there's nothing gentle or passive about the way they go about that surgery.
And they even say things like we need to be aggressive with.
The treatment has to be aggressive. The enemy is.
Okay.
But they're doing it. Why are they doing it? Because they're doing it because the compassion for the individual.
Wow.
and we get a whole, when we see evil being done by an individual,
yes,
we say, oh, how could they do that? That's an evil thing. That person's so evil, and so our attention and even our conversation is on the person rather than the spiritual force that is wrecking that person's life.
Wow.
When you see anger on the outside, you know there's pain on the inside. And so I believe for Christians, all of us, I believe that if we had the eyes of Jesus, we would be able to see the individual not as the perpetrator, but as the victim.
Wow.
Now we know that they may have done wrong things that allowed Satan to get more of a hold of them.
We all have done.
Absolutely. But what is the spiritual force that is driving that person? What is the inner torment that grips the heart of that individual and is devouring them from the inside? If we could see it in those terms, we would go to militant war against the perpetrator of the crime, which is a spiritual force.
Yes.
Be it bitterness, be it lust, be it murder, be it adultery. There's a spiritual force that has gripped the heart of that individual. We need to direct our militancy and our anger towards that perpetrator.
And often in secret behind and praying.
Not to the person.
Yeah, okay.
Because love never fails. That's quite a statement, but it's in the Bible.
It is.
And so when I'm looking at that person, the only hope that person has got to stop doing the evil is that Jesus get a hold of the life.
First bind the strong man.
We bind the strong man. They're not going to.
No.
But if we don't,
this is so good.
If we do not communicate to them unconditional love, unconditional embrace, if they do not feel that from us, then any hope of reaching them with the gospel is lost. Love has got to open their heart. They've got the evil attacking their emotions, their mind, their thinking, their perception. They're in this cloud, there's fog. The only thing that will penetrate that fog is unconditional love. And so love penetrates the fog.
Wow.
And for a brief glimpse, they see something so supernatural. How can that person love me when everything I'm doing is against them? How can they do that? And in that moment of unconditional love for the person, that glimpse of truth is the only hope they have.
Wow.
But our militancy has got to be against the force that binds them.
So the prophetic is the hearing and passing on Father's heart and His words.
Yes.
So in this scenario that you're talking about, we have to be Spirit-led to not only see in the spirit realm what's happening.
That's it.
God, what's really going on here? Because anyone, Christian or not, Spirit-led or not, can see the fruit, can see the actions. And that's what we fight against. And that's where things flare up. But a Spirit-led, a prophetic person says,
Right.
God, I can see this. Everyone can see this. Everyone's talking about this. But God, what's going on? What do you want me to now take authority over? What do you want me to get militant against, so that we can take authority over that and this person to come into freedom? And I love the clarity you brought, the medical thing. If someone is suffering with something, and again, it's often the internal that is racking them, you have to be militant and even aggressive against the true enemy, and don't see the person as the enemy. That is a real good insight.
Well, this is their only hope.
Yeah.
But in our next session together, we're going to springboard off this.
Great.
Because often our judgment of a person's action is based upon what we see with these eyes, not what the Holy Spirit has revealed with these eyes.
Don't go anywhere. We'll see you again real soon.
Okay.